Okay, so now that we have our first migration done and our super user, let's go ahead and actually add our app into our Django project by going into our main configuration folder, which is the name of our project, and settings.py. And we're going to go ahead and scroll down to installed apps. Now, when we actually ran our migrations, we saw all of those things being installed. That's what that implying was done. So let's go ahead and add in videos now. This will now tell Django that the videos app inside of here is actually ready for its own migrations. So what we do is python manage.py make migrations, and then python manage.py migrate, and then python manage.py test. Those are the three commands you're always going to want to run. Now, you obviously noticed there's a bunch of errors that happened here. And that's because my actual models weren't defined correctly. First and foremost, title is a car field or char field, and it must define a max length attribute. Now, if you're not familiar with this, just go to the documentation, search for max length, and wait a minute, that's not right. Let's go back to the Django fields. So now I'm going to search for max length, and I see in a lot of places there's something called max length. So this is also a requirement of the char field itself. So if you actually look at the code or the documentation for that char field, it gives you that max length value in there. So we need to set that to something, which is just a number value that we want to limit this character field to. So this limits it in the database, so it's not huge basically. So let's go ahead and add it in both places that have the character field. Next, the description itself. Do we want to allow empty descriptions? Well, we can go ahead and say yes. So blank equals a true and null equals a true. This means that the description field never has to be filled out. It can just be completely empty, both on the admin side, which we'll do in a little bit, and also on the database side. Cool. So now that we've made some changes to models.py, we have to do the cardinal rule of making changes, which is python manage.py, make migrations, and then python manage.py migrate, and then python manage.py test. And in this case, I'm going to do test and then the app name itself, which is videos. Now, I don't have any tests. It says ran 0 test. We need to solve that as a problem. Okay, so we now have our first app and model in there. Now let's go ahead and actually add this as a test case as well.